Hello everyone, welcome to this demo on how to create the face collage. This is going to be a review on how to use the layers panel and how to organize them. I'm going to introduce briefly some selection tools so you can start playing with them to create a collage with multiple photographs. So for this one, I want you guys to use your own images. I have a group of images here that work well because they're details. If you don't find your own images, you can use some combined with the web with some that you have to create this collage. So I have right here, let's see, so it's 7 images. Um, Usually it's better if you have one image as your background. So for this demo, I'm going to use this one of the sky. I'm actually going to open all of these images, or maybe let's start with this one. I'm going to start with the background one. So I double click in Adobe Bridge. It's going to open automatically in Photoshop. This is going to be my background image. Now, the second image that I'm going to pick is going to be the one that I'm going to use as the placeholder for the face, which in this case I'm going to use this one right here. So I'm going to double click here so I can open that image. Now we're going to start diving into how to basically create some selections and at the same time utilize them for copying the layer into another layer. Now this might be a little bit, stepping ahead of what we're going to do because there's going to be a whole demo on how to use selection tools, but for now I want to show you how to do this so that way you can start playing around with the layers. So the first thing I want to show you is this right here. It's like a little circle in mine. In yours it might be different because it might have the rectangular marquee tool. So this one right here, if you notice, it's kind of like a little circle and it has like dotted lines. So for that one, is if you have the marquee tool selected, you will see that you can click and hold it down and it will show you more options inside that marquee tool. Now there's a rectangular marquee tool and the elliptical marquee tool. In this case, let me move this around. By the way, this you can position it anywhere you want. I'm going to move it down here and I'm going to click these 3 dots and I'm going to put pin bar position so that way it stays there. Hopefully it won't bother us again. So I'm going to make sure it had the check mark. Now for this, I want to start with the elliptical marquee tool. So right now I have the elliptical one. I'm going to let it go. So I have that one. And as soon as you have that tool, how this is going to work is you're going to click and drag it out, okay? And don't worry if you did it wrong. You can always redo the selection. So I'm going to start here and click out because the area that you start clicking, that's like kind of like an anchor point, and then you can pull it out diagonally. So I want about that area. Once you let go, you're going to see this little line that has like walking ants. That's basically letting you know that you have a selection. If you want to unselect it because you didn't like what you did, you can do Command D to deselect it, okay? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to click here and drag it out. I have that area. Now let's go back to what we were talking about, which is the layers. We have the layers panel here. I'm going to pull it out so it can be close so you can see what will happen. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. You have the layer here. I have a selection. So now if I press a shortcut, that's Command J. So Command J, whatever I had selected is going to be made into a copy of a new layer, only the area that I have selected. So right now you can't see it because the background is on. So if I hide the visibility here, you see this little eye of the background, then you will see what I just did, which is that, okay? So again, I had a selection with the marquee tool, the circular marquee tool, and I had an oval basically, and I pressed Command J. Once I did the selection, it's duplicated into another layer. Now I'm going to grab my move tool again, the first one right here. You can press the letter V in your keyboard for that shortcut, and I'm going to click and drag it up. You can see that I'm holding it down. I'm not letting go. I'm going all the way here and then letting it go, okay? So I'm letting go the click that I did in the other image once I bring it into here. If that doesn't work for you, there's another way that you can do it. Actually, there's multiple ways, like everything in Photoshop. One simple way, if you go to Window, Arrange, and you have 2 up vertical, it will basically put the 2 files next to each other, and that way you can drag it a little bit easier. If you go to this image and you have that layer selected, make sure that you have the layer selected, and you click it and you just drag it over here. Okay, that's a little bit easier because you get the visual. The other one you have to kind of like click, drag it to the tab, wait until the image appear, and then bring it back down and then let it go. I do it like that because I got used to it. There's other ways of doing that I used to, but I don't want to get more advanced and keep throwing shortcuts at you. But for now, I think this is a simple way of doing it while you get used to it. So that way you know that you're bringing from one document to another document. Once you do that, you can basically go to Window again and Arrange, and then there's one that says Consolidate All Tabs. Okay, so if I'm going to click there, it's just going to go back to the tab format where there's tabs on the top. Okay, now I don't need this anymore. I'm going to close it. Don't save. I don't need to save it. I have what I want it here, which is going to be, let's move it here. I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to do Command T. You know that shortcut already. And I'm going to press Option in my keyboard. So then when I pull it in, it goes to the center of it. So I want my face a little bit smaller. So let's do that. And then I'm going to double click it. Now I'm going to go back to Bridge, and I'm going to start bringing some of the other stuff. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to do kind of like a little hair with this, and I'm going to show you a new tool instead of the marquee tool here. I'm going to show you the polygonal lasso tool because then you can do like a triangle. Now that one works kind of like, you know, lines that you click and it will have an anchor point, and then you pull the line up, and I'm going to show you in a little bit here. I'm going to do a triangle here, so I'm going to click on this area here, and you can see that I only click once, and it kind of has like this, you know, like line that follows you until you click again. So I'm going to click there and then click, let's say, let's do here. And then I'm going to do another click down here, and I'm going to do click. And then when you get to the first one, if you hover over it, it's going to have like a little circle appear. And that's telling you, hey, if you click here, it's going to close that, basically that gap, and it's going to make it a selection. So once I do that, then it transformed that polygonal lasso tool into a selection. So once I have that, then I can do Command J, and you will see that it duplicated that triangular shape into this. Actually, I realized I don't like that one that much, so I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to do it again. So Command D, I'm going to, let's see, make sure that I do a little bit bigger. I want to do it wider on the bottom, so I want to click it here, there, and let's do like somewhere around here. That looks a little bit better. Command J. Okay, now again, I'm going to press the V for Victor, and I'm going to click on this triangle that I did, drag it over, bringing over, letting it go. I'm just going to ask me that because the color profile was different, but don't worry, that's not going to happen to you. Now that I have this, I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do Command T because I want this to be kind of like a little hair for my face, like something like that. I'm going to make it smaller as well. So let's do that. It's kind of like a crazy face. Now I'm going to bring, let's say, some eyes, and I'm going to use the water for it. So now when I open this one, I'm going to do the circular one again, or elliptical marquee tool. Okay. And I'm going to make the eye a little bit like that. Let's say there. And I do Command J. Remember that if you don't like the selection, you can do Command D to deselect it. There's a couple other shortcuts that you can move the selection, and I'll show you that in another video, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want you to have fun with this and not have a lot to worry about too much about some details. So now that I have this one, I'm going to bring it over to the other one, let it go here. Oh, these are all different color format. And then I'm going to make it smaller. So this is going to be like my little eyes. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let's do that. Okay, so this one, because, I don't know, let's say I like that, I'm actually going to just duplicate it. So I'm going to press Command J here, so that way I have 2 layers of that one. And one thing that I'm noticing, I feel like it would be kind of cool if the eyes are behind this thing here. So you can either move the layers here. I'm just going to move this one, the one of the hair, put it above it, so that way it's like the eyes are behind it. I think it looks a little bit better there. Now I'm gonna go back. Let's see, what else do I want? Probably a nose. Let's try this one for the nose. Why not? And then I'm gonna do the same one. I'm gonna do the elliptical one. I'm gonna do a little bit narrower. Let's make it a little bit like that, this area here. Command J, select the move tool. I'm going to bring it back to the other image. Boom, let it go. That's too big, so I'm going to make it small. Kind of like to make like the nose area here. Double click to approve that. Might be a little bit too big. Let's do that. And then you can move it with your arrow keys as well once you have the layer selected. So I'm going to kind of like position it there. All right, let's see. What are we missing? It feels like that image has a mouse, but maybe let's see if I can do like some kind of mustache or something. Let's try this. Oh, actually, I don't want that. I want to change it to the rectangular one. Let's see if I can do like this area here. So it looks like, I don't know, somewhere around there. Command J, select V, bringing it over. Now you can see that I'm having an issue here in terms of how many tabs I have. Normally I would start closing those tabs, but because I don't want to have you guys look at this for a long time, I'm kind of rushing through it, so that way you can just see the end result. Now in this case, I want, let's say, the nose to be above that, so I do that. That's looking a little bit better. What else do I want to add to this? Maybe some ears. What do I want to do for the ears? Let's do the concrete. I'm going to do M. I'm going to select for the ears the elliptical one. Let's do something like that here. There. All right, Command J. V for Victor. Drag it all over. And then I'm here again. Command T. Make it smaller. All right, so let's say somewhere around there. So this is like the potato head. Anyway, I'm going to lower this one actually behind the face so it looks more two-dimensional in a way. And I'm going to duplicate it so that way I can move it also to the other side. Okay, so let's say something like that. Now, that's looking a little bit more interesting. Now it's starting to look like a face. Anyway, I just want you guys to have fun with this. I just wanted to do a demo so that way you get a sense of how to do it. I wouldn't get too creative on terms of the selection tools. Try to keep it simple with the marquee tool, maybe the polygonal lasso tool, and try to make something kind of funny with details of stuff to make a face. You can do anything. You can use textures, you know, different things to create something abstract out of shapes with textures and things. So that's what you have to do for this lab. I hope that you have some fun with it. There's low stakes on this one. It's all about getting to know how to organize your layers and how to move them from one document to another and scale things and flip them. Later on, we'll get into more advanced stuff. But for now, I just want you to get familiar with Photoshop and how to do this basic thing, which is basically the foundation of having a good workflow in Photoshop, is knowing how to navigate the layers and how they behave. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm happy to help. If you have any questions, I hope this is useful. Have a great day. I'll see you next week. Take care.